Yo, 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 it's your man King Castrowigs coming at you guys live and direct with the Comic Cons podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Issue number, I think
11?
11 is the number that we're on. Yes, number 11, kids. As you see, I got my co-host sitting to my far right in the building.
Young Master Jules, I'm very excited for this one, man.
True indeed, true indeed. Today is a very special day, kids. We have some very special guests. I've actually been waiting to do this interview on several other podcasts for many, many, many moons now. My brother will attest. Ladies and gentlemen, in the building today, kids, we have the longest running comic book company in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as well, maybe, potentially Oklahoma, guys. So, kind of a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, props, respect. Sitting to my right, I got my man, Johnnie Jonson in the building. And then, sitting to my far right, we got Aaron Ballinger in the building, owner of Equinox Comic Books, guys. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How y'all doing?
Thank you. Thanks for having us, man.
Of course,
It's been a long time coming.
It definitely has, man. So I guess let's just start off here, man. Everybody wants to know, what inspired you guys to start the business? How did that get started, and what went into making that happen?
Well, I guess that would jump over to me. So I was just thinking about this on the way up here. Back in 5th grade, I went to school at Little Kiefer, Oklahoma. And a couple of guys were in there drawing Thor, Iron Man, Batman, all that. And I thought that's kind of neat. I wanted to do the same thing. So I went up to them, talked to them. I said, what are you guys doing? Talked to them. And they were drawing those characters, so I started doing the same thing. And now, granted, not very good artwork back then. I mean, they didn't even have fingers. They had lines, on their oval hands there. But so we started doing that, and then eventually we started kind of coming up with our own characters. And a couple of the other guys that were doing this, they kind of dropped out of it. But Tim Lackey, who is the other guy that I first saw drawing, we kind of stuck with it. And we kept drawing, and we kind of come up with our characters and create our own little fictional comic book companies, ABC Comics, Aaron Ballinger Comics, he'd come up with stuff. And he actually come up with the title for Equinox Comics years later. So that's what we thought we would do, was get into the comic book business, and publish comics. But of course we didn't know how to do that. And then, so as time goes by, up into high school, I was still into comics, but then I started getting into rock music, and it was about 86, nice. I believe. And I wanted to be a rock star too. So way before that, I wanted to be a stuntman. So I wanted to be all kinds of things. But, so I got into music and actually tried a few bands. And at one point in time, I guess it was the late 90s. Early 2000s, I did have a little bit of a run in the music industry locally as a semi-celebrity locals. We had a couple songs on the radio station, and it was a Christian rock band called Elijah's Ride, and we had a song that was on a compilation album that was nationwide, so we had a little bit of it. And then our lead singer had to quit the band, and it was just one of those things that just fell apart. It kind of dissolved, nothing bad, just he had things going on. So I said, you know what, I'm going to jump into the comics again. And went on the MySpace.
Nice.
MySpace, back in the day.
Still have the MySpace account, just so you know, even for my old band. But went on to MySpace and found a lot of local talent, and even saw Johnny's artwork on there.
Okay.
And of course, I was like, this guy, he's not going to have anything to do with us. He's a pro. He's already doing stuff with this guy in Kansas City. I mean, But there was a mutual friendship that we had with this other guy. My old boss, when I was at Tulsa Community College, he knew him as well. Anyway, somehow it worked out. We got to connect. But I reached out to all these local talent and brought them in and met with them and said, all right, here's what we want to do. Between my friend Tim and I, we had created over 400 characters. I laid them all out there and said, all right, what do you guys want to do? Pick something out. See what you think. And they started coming together and picking up some characters. And
so let me get this straight.
Yeah,
so you guys basically came up with a bunch of characters, brought in some talent, and were like, have at it. What do you want to work on?
Exactly.
I think that's incredible.
So we, some of the guys, there's a character named Eben who was kind of like our Superman. They kind of gravitated towards him, and so we kind of come up with a story based around him. We wanted to introduce a lot of our characters kind of all at once rather than just one or two characters. We wanted to show that we had more to offer than just a few. And part of the reason I brought together a group is I noticed that a lot of people that try to do a little comic book self-publishing thing, it's either one person or two people. They might have 2 or 3 characters that they had, and that's kind of where it fizzles out after a while. But I thought bringing in a group, you can feed off each other's ideas, creativity, the energy, and that's actually why I feel like it's lasted as long as it has. And then they just took, like Johnnie and Tommy Brownell, the writer of the Chronicles of Rachel Strand, they meshed so well on that character. They've really developed that character out. Rachel, at one point, when Tim had created her, it was a boy. It was a male character. Then turned it to a girl, originally called Hellraiser, like not like a partier, but like a Razors, Hellraiser. And then they turned it to the Chronicles of Rachel Strand, which works much better, we think. And we introduced her in our first book in the secondary part of it. So I'll probably go way too ahead of you guys.
No, it's perfect. That's exactly what I was asking for. I was just
I
listening
used
to
to
the
get
story.
paid to talk. I used to get in trouble for it in school. Now I got paid for it.
Yeah,
I mean, same. This is what we do. We just don't get paid yet.
we don't get paid.
We don't get paid
We're
yet.
working on that. But no, man, I think that entire journey is incredible, man. How many people would you say are doing work for Equinox at this time?
In the group at this time,
Because I see every time I go to a con, it's like a table of you guys, man, just
we gotta get
going
as many
in.
tables as we can get, but that gets expensive. But
Yeah.
there's probably maybe right around right now, maybe 14
About around there,
at
about-
max. We've had up to a little over 20 in the group at one time, and some have come and gone, and some have stuck around, but it's tough, to compete against, our competitors are Marvel and DC, and, they're not sounding like we, like they're worried about us, but they really are our competitors because everybody
Right.
is going to buy.
They're in the business. You guys are in
Yeah.
the same business.
It's not easy to try to catch up to something like that.
So, and then that leads me to another question. What are the differences, if you will, between being an independent comic book company owner or working in the independent industry versus, you know what I'm saying, doing it with the big names, things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. Number one, probably the freedom. You do your stories the way you want to without any pressure from a corporate entity saying you have to do it this way. This is the way we want to do it. We want to monetize and keep this within a certain frame. Independent, you can do what you want. You want to have a explicit or something where you don't have no restraints on your creativity. If you want to go the R-rated route, or if you want to go the X-rated route, or if you want to go, something more kid-friendly. It's freedom, and that's, you want to tell your story. You want to be free to tell it the way you want to,
Right.
not the way that somebody, y'all need to have this. We need to have this. But you get to tell your story, your vision, nobody constraining you, nobody telling you need to do this.
That's
It's
politics.
you, and that's where you need to,
I
where it needs to
think-
be.
I think being able to have that creative control as
Yes,
well is just a
of course.
humongous advantage, man. As an
course.
artist, as a writer, art being controlled is never the way. It's not the right move.
Yeah.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So having that freedom, of course, you guys are creators yourselves. How is it having a team and saying, this is my idea or this is my characters, and the team doesn't agree or butt
Does
heads
that
in
kind
certain...
of thing happen? Where you guys have an idea and then somebody's like, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah, because
that's
with
not.
400 characters, you probably liked one that the team didn't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's been designs that, just saying because I'm an artist, there's been designs I've put in, and, not everybody really feeling them. I mean, said, well, no, not really feeling this or that. Even with the Rachel Strand, when we came on with it, Tim's original design kind of was like kind of the bad girl. I know y'all remember the bad girl era of comics, where, it was just, pretty much, I just want to, characters not even, it's just pretty much a body and, just see how close we can get to the edge of showing
Right.
Yeah.
this and that, and there's no substance to the characters. So that's one thing when Tommy asked me to do the Rachel Strand, I said, well, I don't mind doing that, but I don't want to do this bad girl because I despise because none of them books were good.
Right.
And then, sorry, guys. So all you guys that went to the bad girl era comics. Sorry, I wasn't into it. But I rather had, a character with some kind of substance with it. Especially, you're going to have a female character. You definitely want her to have something of substance that you want people to say, hey, well, I can get with not just, oh, well, she looks good, she looks hot. No, I will make her she's an interesting character.
There's some meat to the situation.
Where, I want to know what she's feeling, why she's doing that, why did she do that, why did she go this route to stop this character or stop this villain, or why did she back off from this? Just a lot of different stuff. And that's what, me and Tommy, that's where we kind of immediately clicked, because he was on the same route too, because he wanted to have that. Well, I don't want the bad girl comics either. I just want to make sure that we have a good character, good supporting cast, good villains, and just where everything just could mesh and people would go, hey, I like that. So
It's not gratuitous.
yeah.
I think that that's really incredible, and to use what you just said to lead into one of my other questions, man. The fact that you wanted to give a female character substance, it wasn't all about just let's make her, extra hot and things like that. Equinox, as far as I know, from what I've studied and things, is mainly kid friendly. There's not curse words, there's not things like that. Do you guys want to talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, the plan was, so when my oldest daughter, who's 22 now, when she was about 9, I was reading Spider-Man, a Spider-Man issue. I don't remember which one, but I was reading Spider-Man, and she wanted to read it, but I remember thinking the content was not really appropriate for a 9-year-old girl, which was dumb, because I would like to share that with her, and I'd like for her to grow up on comic books like I did.
Right.
But as a parent, I didn't feel right letting her read that. And so when I thought, I'm going to do Equinox, I said, you know what? Let's keep it balanced. Let's still keep it edgy that adults can appreciate it, but then parents don't have to worry about kids reading the book, and they can grow up on the comics with it. So, we, like I said, it's still edgy, but it's not dumbed down where, it was simplistic. And, and the kids, nowadays versus back when we were younger, they got access to more stuff. They know a lot more than probably we did when we were kids, and have been exposed to a lot more. So I know I'm not necessarily keeping a lot of the stuff away from them that they can't or get to, but I'd rather just say, why not? Why not protect the innocence? Why not keep them young for a long time? Quit stealing the innocence of a kid. Let them be kids still. And that's why we did that. And just to kind of add to that, I was at a convention one time. I was one of the guest panelists at one of the conventions, and one of the guys that was there was a horror writer, and he wrote some very, scary, nasty stuff that you wouldn't want your kids reading. And he caught up to me afterwards, and he said, man, he goes, I love this. He goes, my own stuff that I write, my own child can't read.
Right.
And he goes, I love that you're doing that. So.
I think that that's incredible, man. We don't have enough of that in the industry currently. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm an adult. I love some adult comics. But also, the thing is, not only is it kid-friendly, but adults can also read some of this. Like books like Rachel Strand. You know what I mean? It's edgy, but with good taste. You know what I'm saying? So I admire that about you guys. I think that that's really incredible. Johnnie, I wanted to weigh in on you a little bit, brother. Been talking about the company, the business, and things like that. Let's talk about you. You do art, man. How did you get started into doing comic book art?
Okay, well, oh man. As you know, I'm probably the oldest senior member of the group, but I've been drawing all my life, and always. It started off, believe not, with Casper the Friendly Ghost, of all things. But that began my art journey when I was a little fella, and then, I just kept it up. I always was the guy that, got a comic book when, I did something good or did my chores and stuff, and, and I always studied and used to go back and try to draw everything, and, then it's Casper grew into Superman and Batman, then eventually I went to Marvel, and I started seeing Spider-Man and Thor and Hulk and Fantastic Four. Then, that started growing my taste a little more. Then once I started, going to, everything from Image to Dark Horse to all that, you just start appreciating it more. But drawing, I've always drawn. I went a year and a half at TU, so I got a little college experience.
So you did some
then,
schooling
yeah,
for it?
Yeah, so...
being humble, the guy who's recognized.
this guy.
Yeah.
But,
Doesn't happen.
But the art, as far as the art thing, that was always a dream to try to get into the comic industry. And, sometimes you had to okay, it's not looking like it because, you know, I've sent out samples of my work and to Marvel and to different people. You know, you never heard anything back and say, well, it's not going to be. Until actually the Image guys, when you start seeing that seemed like that's when independent comics just kind of exploded. And
Right.
everybody's attention went to, you know, independence. Well, I was picked up a few independent comics, and one was this gentleman up in Kansas City named Alonzo Washington. He had a company called Omega 7, and they was African American superheroes.
That's awesome.
So that's, you know, one thing I'm always was big on because I always wanted to see a African American superhero with power. I don't want to see, you know, no props to Luke Cage and props to Black Lightning and Black Panther, but I want to see a Superman level character, and he had those. So I sent him some samples of my work, and immediately, within a week, he called me back. So this was like in '92. So that got me. He got me on the track with that. So started doing work with him, and you know, we had a little successful run of comics that I did with him, and also. I really don't tell about this, but he had a little toy line where he had his little action figures. So
That's dope.
I had him did some designs for that, and you know, and just really started connecting with his work, and then and plus he was kind of an activist in his community too. So he was a very community-based guy. So the comics started falling by the wayside with him, so he started getting more into activism. So he fell into that, and that, you know, took a lot of his time. So the comics kind of fell, and you know, I wasn't doing as many with him. But then this guy right here on MySpace, he seen me, and he kept. I didn't know who he was to save his life. He kept asking me, "Hey, I want to see your artwork," blah blah blah. And I was going, "Who is this dude?" And, you know, and I was going, "Yeah, okay, maybe." Then kept telling me, kept inviting me to a meeting. He wanted to have that. He's meeting. He had a bunch of people he's going to meeting, and you know, I was going.
My man
okay,
was
yeah,
trying
whatever.
to assemble the Avengers.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. And you know, I just kept on. Yeah, right. Okay, whatever. Then he just kept on. He kept on. He very, very persistent gentleman. So then I finally said, okay, when is this? And I'll be there. And I said, do I need to bring anything? And he said, no, just bring yourself. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'll bring one of my sketchbooks, show you what I can do, and if you want to use me, it's fine. If not, that we'll part ways. So went to the meeting. Needless to say, it's almost a fight to get my sketchbook back. But
Still so
I
much
just
away,
like the again, what attracted me to Equinox is the fact that, you know, Oklahoma based, you know, because I'm Oklahoman. So, and then I like the diversity of his characters. Again, you know, I want to see those images that look like me, and you know, they have power, and you know, not somebody that's relegated to, you know, I'm going to be the Tupac and I'm staying in the hood and do this, and I'm not going to get out of the hood. I want somebody that's, you know, how come we can't go to outer space? How come we can't,
Right.
you know, articulate this to where we're saying, well, we're going to protect the whole world instead of, you know, relegated just into little microcosm of the hood. You know, we want to, you know, branch out and be larger than what we are. So, and that's what, you know, Aaron had, and especially, you know, Native, because I mean, Native American too, because Native American side got attracted to some of the Native American characters that he had, and you know, just had a very diverse characters. Then, actually, I got of all things, I got put on the vampire chick, so I got the vampire hot chick. So, but I mean, it was very, like I said, it's just very diverse, and you know, I really appreciate everything that he had, and you know, hopefully, you know, we can keep some of these stories going, and you know, get some of these characters out there, because I mean, there's a lot of characters we have ideas for, and a lot of stories that we have that need to be told, and you know, we're just chomping at the bit just to get them out there, just for everybody to see, and we think that everybody would appreciate them.
I think that that's really incredible, man. You brought up an excellent point, just as far as characters of color being displayed in comic books really isn't a thing. For the longest of time, it wasn't a thing. It's kind of becoming a thing a little bit now. They're showing more diversity and things like that. But one of your guys' main characters, the Equinox comic book, to me, the equivalent of the Black Superman, is he's a brother. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's incredible. I want to ask you guys kind of what's the, and then I think you guys also have a tribal comic book as well. You know what I'm saying? And do we have those here?
Yes.
I'd love to show it to
all
the cam.
beautiful, by the way.
If you guys want to talk to us a little bit kind of about the influence of
Take them out
these.
of the bag if you want to. If it's got the glare on that. But
Yeah, I'm going to display some of these. But if you guys want to tell us a little bit, like, what went into the creation of Equinox character here, you know what I'm saying? And
so that's Eben. And he was created by Tim Lackey, the guy I grew up with. He, I mean,
It's a great looking design.
We didn't, I don't know, I mean, when we were creating these characters, we were just creating characters. Like, I couldn't tell you what Tim's inspiration was for Eben, but, I mean, we would always do that. We would create a variety and different ethnicity. I mean, it makes sense. You know, we're a world that's developed, you know, that's like that. We've got those differences. And but like Eben, for example, I mean, he's not a hero just because he's a black character. That's just how he is. And
it's just him.
right. And villains,
awesome.
they don't hate him because he's black. They hate him because he's the hero of heroes, you know.
Right.
And the heroes respect him because he's one of the best. He's the best of the heroes. And it's just how it fell into place. And so then when we threw that out there, that was one of the characters that a lot of the guys were gravitated to that they wanted to do more with. And that's why he's in our first book, Equinox #1, to kind of introduce that way. And so, we have him. And, of course, there's also a Warhawk, you know, who's kind of our Iron Man, you know, guy. He's techie and he's got powers. But you know, it's not like we're trying to just focus on characters of color. It's just that's how it's falling into place. Now the tribe, I'm not Native American, man. I'm whiter than sour cream. Almost went into Weird Al Yankovic song there. But, no, I mean, I just love the Native culture. I think the Native Americans are really cool. I created those characters a long time ago, and there's 7 different tribes represented there. And Eric Factor, who's one of our writers, who is the writer for that, he's Chickasaw. He actually lives in my town over in Glenpool. So I said, hey, you know, it turns out he writes. And I said, you want to write the tribe because that'd be kind of cool. Well, he said, yeah. He goes, well, let me fix a few things because he goes, you know, this particular tribe's color doesn't match, you know, and so he improved the tribe for me. I'm like, I love it. And that goes back to, you know, I didn't say you had to have that look. Like he changed Ghost Spear's name. I originally had him called Seminole. He goes, let me do this. And he went with Ghost Spear. I'm like, perfect. It makes sense. I mean, let him be creative. And so that actually has become one of our more popular books now, the tribe. So that's just kind of how it falls into place. And what I want to do also in our books, I want to stay out of the whole social justice stuff because, like Eric said, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but
That's all right. We're loving it.
Well, we were pitching we went to this little pitch where you can pitch a movie idea, and we wanted to turn the tribe into a film. It would be the first of its kind to have all lead Native American actors and all lead Native American superheroes in a film or TV series, as far as I've been able to find, and been trying to work with this. But so I pitched that idea, and then the gentleman that was just before us, he really kind of went into the whole social justice thing, and kind of making me try to feel like I'm a bad white guy, which I think is silly. Well, he came to us and asked us, you know, why wouldn't you want to, you know, push that thing, you know, with the tribe and all this stuff? And Eric said it perfectly. He said, if you've got a wound and you leave that finger in the wound, it's never going to heal. Because you got to take that finger out of the wound so it can heal. And he goes, that's why I think, you know, we don't need to be doing that. And I said, I appreciate that. I think we keep bringing attention to all the problems. It's never going to go away, or it's never going to go away completely. I understand that, but it can die down a lot more if we stop making each other irritated. So why put that in books that's not meant to? That's escapism, you know?
Right.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Me and him were talking about something similar to this with another black character. I didn't agree with how they did it, but he's saying the underlying reasoning is it looks like you, or it relates to you. It relates to somebody else that looks like you but experiences life a little differently. And this is beautiful. Like, looking through these pages, why do I care who sat down and created it? Why do I care who, drew the characters? The characters look like me. They relate to me.
Right.
I appreciate that.
And those who don't look like the tribe or can't necessarily relate can learn from it.
Yeah.
And they can still appreciate it. And it's not, they're not going to turn it down. If you turn it down because of their Native Americans or, black superheroes, then you're an idiot. I don't need you looking at my books in the first place.
Well, especially with this whole, like you were saying, like politicalism or whatever, we hear this word appropriation a lot, but it's like, appropriation to me is taking it and devaluing the meaning of it. But if we take something and all agree this is great, or to uplift it, then that's beautiful. Why does that have to hinder the experience? Like, some little Native American or some little black child needed this at a certain time. Why take it away from them? If not me, then who's going to do it?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's absolutely incredible that you guys are, because you said it just is basically who these characters are. You guys are giving a voice to these people, these characters, if you will. You're bringing a life to them, without even trying. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. It's not even the intention for my man to be black or for them to, all be Native or anything. That's not the purpose. The purpose is just to tell good stories, man, and to allow people to escape off in these stories and enjoy and just have that little bit of, that little bit of peace. You know what I mean? That's what comic books are all about, man. To open those pages and dive into these beautifully illustrated panels and these wonderful stories. And I think that's absolutely incredible. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what goes into developing a character, coming up with how they look, how you want them to dress, how you want them to move, and then on the writer side, working on dialogue and things like that. How does that all come together?
Usually it's, again, teamwork. Just for the Rachel Strand, again, like I told you before, when we seen the original Rachel illustrations, I wasn't a fan because it was looking like the Bad Girl era comics,
That's the old version.
And so I told her I wanted to do something. I said, well, I can make her sexy, and I can make her, look good, but I want it to be, again, substance. And, again, and Rachel's, if people don't know, Rachel's half human, half vampire. So
She looks so dope.
So we definitely wanted to make her definitely kind of dark and mysterious, so hence all the black. And she usually don't. And a lot of the earlier, I think maybe in this one, she wears her black cat uniform. And a lot of it, she's in our first issue, which we don't have, we sold out. But the first issue,
congratulations.
she's in street clothes. So... So we definitely, want to try to, keep sometimes heroes, they don't get in their costumes immediately. So sometimes, they're in street clothes and they just happen to be pulled into a situation, and then there you have it. And I know that the second issue, a lot of it, she's going to be in her street clothes. So even goes into the third issue, she's in her street clothes. So I got 3 issues, guys. So that's going to be illustrated, it's illustrated, but need to be published. But for the most part, we kind of figured that she's going to be, being a hero of the night, she's going to be in dark clothing. So, and it's going to switch up. It's not going to be a cat suit. Sometimes it's going to be maybe the trench coat. Maybe it's going to be. She might be in a dark dress. Who knows? But it's just something that she's going to have freedom of movement. And, of course, she's been around for over 100 years. So, again, a lot of the influence with Blade and all the kind of techie vampire movies has been there, the Underworld series. So she got fighting skills, so she knows how to fight. So, again, her costume is going to, freedom of movement where she can, do the kicks and the flips and do the strikes and whatnot. So it's going to be something that's going to be, her costume's going to be able to do that. But again, we felt that in the first issue of her book that, it'd be cool if she just kind of happened to be in her street clothes, and boom.
Right.
She got pulled into the situation. She didn't have time to go get the uniform that she usually goes. So
It's more realistic that
Yeah,
way as well.
and-
you
yeah,
know,
so-
not everybody can hop in a booth, rip
right,
off
Yeah.
their shirt.
and
I
so-
think that's pretty cool because I hate seeing like I'm a big anime guy.
Yeah.
All the anime characters are in the same damn thing all the time.
That's valid.
I'm
I
like,
never
there's no
noticed
way
that.
you guys don't change clothes in your
yeah,
everyday life.
You smell bad, or the
Yeah,
laundry bill's
yeah.
expensive.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's
I mean-
it's nice to see that, but of course, I mean, I'm gonna have my favorite
Of
in that
course.
sense, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, I like that for sure.
So I gotta say, she looks really dope. I do notice she has these gauntlets on.
Yeah.
What's going on with
The
those?
gauntlets are actually the Hellraisers. First off, they started off with the Wolverine-esque claws.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And when Tim had those, there's a few characters that have that, and X-23.
Yeah, in defense, we had before X-23 ever came
Yeah.
out, we had that character.
Yeah, they
already
had
like
this,
that.
but
But we're
Really?
not going to tell Marvel to cease and desist. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
right.
and then there's another guy that had a character called Razor.
Yeah.
So we had some discussions with some of these people, and so we decided, well, we need to change her up. So I came up with the kind of gauntlet sort of deal. Let's get gauntlets and let's get her kind of finger claws where she can go instead of the Wolverine-esque claws. So we can kind of stray away from that.
What's
And,
it- Oh.
Then okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I always was a fan of the little nails. Like,
Yeah.
Sabretooth, Wolverine's brother, had
Yes.
long
Yes.
nails.
Yeah.
I watched the Teen Wolf series. Like, I always
Yeah.
loved that. I feel like Wolverine, it was all the way cool, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And these are more than the fingernails. To me, they're more practical rather than she get boom. Oh, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Or she can kind of.
They can
Right.
it's more versatile. You
Yeah.
can climb, freedom of movement.
Yeah.
You can take your stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
and they can transform, right? I mean, the gauntlets
Yeah.
can transform
Yeah,
to
and-
the blades or whatever they want.
Yeah,
They're
and
kind of a living
again,
entity.
Yeah, and issue 2, that's where we'll see them
that's
transform. So, yeah, they like I said, we was trying to get away from any kind of similarities and stuff, and again, even when doing comics, it's kind of live and learn because you run into stuff where somebody, hey, well, they're doing this over here, they're doing the same thing, so
Right.
you have to kind of be mindful of that, and then just go, what are we going to do? Even her hair. We've had okay, she's looking like she got long hair like certain characters like this. So, sometimes she's going to have her hair up into a ponytail. Sometimes it's going to be maybe she may have the Heidi braids on. I don't know, but we definitely wanted to switch up the look and where it's going to be not the same all the time, but it's going to be kind of diverse. And you may see her, she may have a hairnet on. Who knows?
Well, back to your question too, though,
Yeah.
as far as like the career process, because Tommy, he uses a lot of his characters like secondary characters in this book, the people that he kind of knew, or was it Captain Nettles?
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a Captain Nettles. She's like a detective, and actually he said he had a lady that he had in mind used to be his former boss, and I don't know how we got in on each other's wavelength, but when I drew her, he said, "How did you do that?" I was going, "Do what?" He said, "This looks just like my boss."
That's crazy.
And I was going, "I don't know. I just drew what from the description gave
we
me."
got mutants in the
So that leads me into one of my questions,
Yeah.
which was, are any of your guys' characters based off of real life people?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have this character. Are there other characters?
Well, even in the Rachel Strand, there's another character of our female psychic, and I don't know where I came up with it, but I was in Sand Springs coming down from work, and I seen a girl look just like her,
I wish you got a picture.
and I was going, "Oh my!"
That's incredible.
I've got a character that I've yet to release, but a character I've had, a character called Rampage. I always had that character even before my son was born, and when my son, as he got older, I kind of started basing the personality and a little more off of him. Now, my son, I'm only 5'6.5", 5'7" when I stretch it.
Yeah.
My son's 6'4", He's a big old boy, and he even had long blonde hair and all this. And he kind of resembled that character, and so I actually based that character's personality and humor and everything off of my son Logan, and so he was actually named after Wolverine. Yep.
It's a good name. It's that's a name of kings.
My daughter Jade, named after Green Lantern's daughter Jade, and my youngest daughter Kaylee's middle name is Storm. So I'm a total shout out to the geek stuff. But sorry, Jade.
That's all right. My son's middle name is Kal-El, so I understand. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do have a lot of character based off that. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this, because both of you guys do art. Are there?
I draw, but
You guys do art. I pretend to draw. I'm horrible. I'm so garbage.
I can't create to save my life.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the professionals. Dang, I just went blank. When it comes to, I forgot what I was gonna say. What do you got? Hit me.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
No worries.
Now I'm blank, man. Damn.
No, I'm saying that's all right. We can edit.
No, it's
everything.
it's cool. It's cool. Anyway, we'll go off.
You asked,
some
based off
questions.
of real people, real characters, and I mentioned, my son Logan and all that. So
Okay. This is completely off topic now that we let it back to that. I wanted to ask you guys, growing up, drawing, studying comics, who are some of the artists that really stood out to you? Like, if you had to do, like, a top 5, man, I got to get into it. I got to ask the question.
long list.
Yeah.
Oh man. Honestly, I beg, borrow, and steal from everybody. I'm a fan of everybody, even guys in the group I'm a fan of. I do have my favorites. John. I've always been a John Byrne head. Love John Byrne. His runs on Fantastic Four, X-Men, classic, and he's done just about everything. Superman, when he redid Superman. Then going back old school, of course, Jack Kirby.
I knew that was going to come.
You can't with Jack Kirby. One that I always tell people that he don't get enough credit is an artist named Ross Andrew. He did Spider-Man, and I'm still a big Spider-Man, and he don't get enough credit. So I want to name drop his name for people. But you can't just pick, because you got Buscema's, you got the
I had to
Jim
ask,
Lee's,
boys.
you have the even Reese, of course Alex Ross.
Yes.
Alex Ross.
You've said everybody that I love,
Yeah,
so this is
you
working
can't-
out for me.
There's so many, and McFarlane's, even Liefeld guys.
And he's a nice guy.
In Liefeld, he still owe us a silver Sharpie.
No, it's a
Not
black
Liefeld.
shark. It was a black shark.
No, silver.
It's a silver one. Maybe that's why he's not giving it back yet.
It's a
Okay.
silver.
Liefeld's the guy that created Deadpool, am I
Deadpool.
correct?
Oh, okay.
And he was there whenever they made Image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Shout out to those guys.
yeah, I Art Adams.
Yeah, Art Adams.
Yeah, a very nice guy. I professed my love to him at Comic-Con, and
Nice.
he's just a gentleman and scholar.
Walt Simonson.
Walt
the
Simonson,
Thor
Larry
series.
Stroman. Oh my goodness.
Strowman, yeah.
Dennis Cowan. I better stop.
No,
keep
what I'm loving
going.
though is how many influences there are, and watching you guys nerd out about them, because I feel the same exact way about guys like Alex Ross, Jim Lee,
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane. I can't, and it's literally amazing.
Yeah.
So
And there's so many names that I won't say no names, but because those who really care, like I mentioned Mark Bagley, he did a really great run on Spider-Mans and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was a spectacular ones, and Kerry Gamble, people like that. But
Yeah.
they don't have the big names like the Alex Rosses. But there's still guys out there that really inspired a lot of people.
Well, even the hometown guy, Steve Irwin.
Steve
A lot of he
Irwin.
don't get enough.
I've
props.
heard of.
Yeah,
He's at the cons a lot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He don't get enough. I mean, he did. I think he co-created Deathstroke.
Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
So like I said, I'm a fan of everybody's, and there's guys down in the city. Shout out to Jerry Bennett.
Yeah, Jerry. The Jerry Bennett.
The Jerry Bennett. Yeah.
There's a V on it. It's important.
And we can hear him laughing from Oklahoma City now.
Yeah. Definitely. So there's tons of artists down. There's talent everywhere. There's talent in talent here is Zach Raw. No, man. There's a lot of talent here in the city, and I'm just fans of, and I geek out over some of this stuff.
I think that's dope, man.
It is fun to hang out with the local talent,
Yeah.
and just talk about stuff or just get inspired by each other. I mean,
Yeah.
but even like our size in our group, I mean, Johnny is an inspiration to a lot of up and coming kids because they'll come to our booth.
Yeah, and I mean, when I first started hanging out with him, I saw that different side of Tulsa. The people that not everybody will see, the artists, the musicians,
There's a lot of
comedians,
talent here in the
right?
city.
So
Yes,
The state.
tons.
yeah.
Tons.
So hearing that your team, he's a fan of some of your other people. Hearing that your team is that close to each other, how does that make you feel in the sense of this was just an idea, now it's a family in a sense?
Oh, it
We're
makes
Equa
me
brothers
feel-
and
yeah,
sisters.
Yeah.
When there's girls in the group, we're Equa brothers, they're Equa family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel great just seeing all the talent, seeing them grow. There's some guys I mentored, and they've just seen their talent grow and get better, and it's still growing. It just does my heart good just seeing that, and just even people coming up when they come to the table, show me their work. We still, hey, you keep pushing it. Keep doing that, what you do, and I want to see you back next year.
Yeah.
I want to see you at a table, showing off your work.
Right.
And that's one thing again too. And I think me and Castro talked a little bit off in text, and
We did.
we
We had
definitely
late night phone call as well.
Yeah.
Guys. I want to plug that. I was on the phone with Johnny Jonson at like 2 or 3 in the morning recently.
Yeah, and we just we don't mind sharing, giving tips to people. Come by our table. You have your portfolio. We'll talk. We're not the guys that is going to down everybody.
We'll give you
We're
legit feedback.
We'll give you feedback, and we're going to give you critiques, but we're going to encourage you mainly. So that's the one thing that we want to tell everybody, artists, writers, we want to encourage you, because I've seen it, I've heard stories, I've heard professionals tell stories about people, going to and, just professionals just dogging these up-and-coming kids down to where they don't want to do it no more.
Right.
And
I've heard of horror stories of gatekeeping in the
Yeah.
industry and things
Of
like
course.
that, unfortunately. So that leads me on to my next question. As you brought up, the fact that you guys are supportive and things like that. If artists or writers wanted to get involved with Equinox, how would they go about doing so?
You just come up to us at the conventions, send emails, things like that. Now, let me kind of let you guys know, it's not a full-fledged business where we're making money doing
Right,
this.
of course.
Every bit of the money I've ever gotten away from this, I put back in there. Johnny does the same thing. We try to set it where they can make a little money doing it, like doing the sketches and the artwork and things like that, which kind of sucks for writers. But I tell them up front ahead of time, that right now you're kind of donating your time and your talent until we can hopefully get to that point
To
where
build
we
the
can do this.
business, to build the brand.
It's not easy. It's easier to come and create a comic book shop because you got a brick and mortar location. It's easier to create a business plan for that. You're competing against other shops, but again, like I said, we're competing against Marvel. We're competing against DC, and even some of the smaller big names. So it's not easy just to jump out there, And we still have our full-time jobs. I got a daughter that's a senior this year, who's graduating, is taking up all my freaking time right now, and I'm a teacher at a school.
Congrats
so
on that,
it's,
though.
It's well, thank you. And so, it's time consuming as well. So we don't get to meet like we used to do,
Right.
And that hurts a little bit. But as far as still come to us because we're always looking for somebody else that can help out or do something. Johnny does a lot of the work,
Right.
There's a lot of things that we need help with, like lettering, for example. Marty Snodgrass is one of our writers, and he don't mind me sharing this, but he's been paralyzed from the neck down since he was 5 years old. He uses things for his mouth, and that guy will letter the comics. He's colored some of the comics. He's drawn. He does stuff on computer. He writes. He's in a bar fight. He's
Nice.
Hey,
Okay.
what the chair
Last
said.
plug.
He, goes, hey, he told me. But no, there's all kinds of people out there that, you think I'm joking, but he really was, he said. So, just get a hold of us and talk to us. And just show us
Definitely.
we are approachable guys. So
Oh, yeah.
just come up to the booth. We're even if we got,
That's how we
we're
met
looking
then.
down, yeah, even if we're looking down drawing or something, I can stop or I can draw
In a sleep.
in my sleep or whatever. But no, definitely come by. We're very approachable.
I want to plug up the fact that you guys are very con active
Yeah.
as well. Literally since my very first con, I've been seeing you guys. So I know you guys stay at the con, stay working, stay busy. So shout out to you and props to you guys for that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to say, I'm sorry guys, I went blank again. But in regards to the future of Equinox, we'll go ahead and take it in that direction. What are some upcoming projects that we can look forward to? You know, where do you guys plan on taking the business, taking the brand, and we'll wrap it there.
Well, I mean, we do have the Rachel series still. Johnny's got 3 more books drawn. You know, we've got to get them lettered.
Yeah.
We actually have issue 1 complete. We just need to get the files. I guess we got to get it relettered because his computer was messed up on Tommy's, and so we had to kind of redo it. But luckily, we still have the artwork, and he's going to have to. We got to get it relettered and then just get it printed, and then the Tribe #2 is lettered, and I got to get a cover for that and a couple pages to put in that. So that, and then we've got Curse. A Curse comic book, which Curse is our ninja superhero. Yeah, he's in one of the books somewhere, but
That's dope. I hadn't even heard of him yet.
He's like a ninja.
yeah, he's introduced in one of the Equinox
Issue 2, I
books.
think.
Yeah, issue 2 of the Equinox.
Okay.
It's on the He'll be in the back of it. So in the Equinox books, real quick, like we wanted it's a 40-page book, and what we did is we have chapter stories in the beginning. Yeah, that's what we print through is Kablam. No, that's the,
That's the company.
No, you see,
I had to open it.
Wow.
I know, man.
they're chapter stories, and then we introduce a character like Rachel Strand was introduced in issue 1 of Equinox. Issue 2 is going to have Curse. Issue 3 has the Judge. Issue 4, I'm not sure which one it will be, but we introduce a lot of our characters, and he'll have his own story. So, but he's a ninja.
Kind of reminds me of
He looks incredible.
Titan X from the old Teen Titans.
He looks really dope.
Yeah.
I like him a
That's
lot.
dope.
Yeah, we have to do. We've had this character since kids. We were kids, so yeah.
He looks incredible,
Oh,
guys.
did we show them?
Last little thing I wanted to say to you guys, really quick, you know, is that I just think it's incredible that there's a place for young artists, young talent, young writers to come and have that backup, that support system. That's the most. I think that's just a wonderful thing for them to be able to access you guys and work with you guys and learn and study under you guys, man. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Of course,
Where
it's
can
dope to
people-
finally sit with you.
We Indie Planet. You can buy these online. Indie Planet. Am I saying this right?
Indie Planet, yeah.
IndiePlanet.com. You can get our books there.
If you go to the Facebook page, we have a Facebook fan page. It's Equinox Comics. There's a shop now. You click on that, it'll take you right to the Indie Planet link, and you can find our books there.
What?
That's beautiful.
Is Wizard?
Wizards, not yet. They were
Okay.
they were trying to get that. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. But
Okay.
we don't have them in the shops. It's again, what's going to make people come and buy us versus the Hulk or Superman.
The manager over there just said talk to him. He'll probably get you guys in here
Okay.
because they have a big indie selection as well.
Yeah, and that's me not being as proactive. I need to be coming and talking to these guys like I should and getting them there.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole process to get them into this. For the big names,
Definitely.
it's easy.
There's promotion.
Because
and
I
all
would
kinds
love
of
to
things.
read one of these, please.
So again, what was that website where they could find your guys'
You
stuff?
can go to Facebook and find us on our webpage, but the company's called, the website's indieplanet.com. Indie Planet, like INDY Planet .com, I believe. And you just have to search for Equinox Comics, but just look for us, because I think there are some characters named Equinox that you might find, like DC has a character named Equinox, but we're Equinox Comics. So.
Gotcha.
Definitely, gentlemen. Well, did you want to plug up social media?
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. We're on all the Twitters, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram,
Yeah, kind of. I need to probably
MySpace
revamp that.
still. MySpace still.
Hey.
You still got MySpace.
MySpace is still relevant, believe it or not, for musicians. I'm not kidding.
It
go
is.
there.
It is.
And
Um, We don't have a website. We had one a long time ago, but we need to get a new website. Again, life.
Yeah.
I think when my
I feel
daughter
that.
graduates and goes to college, I'll have more time.
Well, gentlemen, again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for sitting down with us. It was
Thank
an
you for
absolute
that.
pleasure.
Finally got a chance
Of course.
to hook up with this gentleman right here.
Hopefully-
He's, for years, just telling everybody out there, for years, we've been always trying to connect. He said, we're going to do this. We're going to do
We
this.
definitely have, man.
And, you know, just things get in the way. And finally, we met up and, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And I appreciate him coming and getting it all hooked up. And we appreciate you, man.
I'm
Proud of you, what you're doing. And
Thank you so much.
I just want to, see continued success in this, and hopefully you guys will, blow up, and then, we become, hey, we know Castro and Jules. They
Hopefully
big
down the
podcast
line.
guys.
I appreciate that so much, man. It means the universe. Down the line, I'd love to sit down with you guys again as well. We'd love to have you back on the show and just keep things updated. If you guys got any new books coming, anything new you want to come promote, things like that, to have that working relationship, I think would be beautiful, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, check us out on... Oh, I haven't even plugged where we are, kids. Impulse Creations, where you get 30% off all comics and subscriptions. Darth Maul is...
Pre-order comics.
Pre-order, what did I say?
Comic, just regular comics.
Yeah, pre-order. It's not regular, guys. You thought you got a deal. Ladies and gentlemen, Darth Maul will be here. What date?
June 22nd.
I love putting it on.
April 22nd.
April 22nd.
April
Come see
22nd.
Darth Maul, kids. Impulse Creations. Check us out on Facebook at Comic Cons Podcast. Instagram at Comic Cons Podcast. YouTube, Comic Cons Podcast. TikTok, Comic Cons Podcast. Did I say Insta?
It don't matter. Comic Con's podcast.
Spotify, all streaming platforms. Comic Cons Podcast,
Everywhere.
kids.
Everywhere.
Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys have a wonderful day. We're out.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah, Macho Madness, he has got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it to you. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation. The Macho Man Randy Savage is nutty.